So the iPhone 14 has been out for a few weeks now, and I've been comparing this iPhone like crazy against all the other iPhones that have came out, and I want to kind of compile my thoughts, basically everything that I'm thinking about with this specific iPhone. And every single time I keep thinking about this iPhone, I keep thinking back to iPhones like the iPhone XS, and I keep thinking back to an iPhone like the iPhone 12 Pro in a way. I don't really think the iPhone 14 is a waste of money. I don't think it's, a horrible iPhone. I don't think it's anything along those lines. I think it's a good iPhone, but I do think that it's one of the smaller upgrades Apple has ever made. And because of that, it doesn't really make any sense to buy this iPhone. I think this iPhone, like I said, it's a good phone overall, but because of how much of a minor upgrade it was from the iPhone 13, I would much rather recommend people to go and just buy either like a certified refurbished iPhone 13 or a used iPhone 13 and just save yourself hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars and basically go down that road. That would make a lot more sense to me than recommending everyone to go and buy an iPhone 14, because it's not really like, the best of value per dollar. For $799, technically $829 off a contract, it is overpriced in my opinion. And the 12 to the iPhone 13 was a bigger upgrade than from the iPhone 13 to the iPhone 14. I would even say an iPhone 10 or to the iPhone 11, that was a massive upgrade, and that price tag went down. With the iPhone 14, you're kind of losing some capability here, like with the SIM card tray, and because of that, it just kind of makes more sense to me just to recommend people to either buy an iPhone 13, keep their iPhone 13, or if you have all the money in the world, then go for the 14 Pros. But other than that, this is not a letdown. I think we already kind of knew Apple was going to go down this road, but I think with the price drop and the used prices that are going down for the iPhone 14s, the 14s have seen the biggest price drop in the used market from any iPhone I think ever before. So that is another really big thing, that if you even wait out a couple of weeks, maybe you can pick up an iPhone 14 in the used market for maybe like $700, who knows? Now with the outside, the body, it looks pretty much identical to all the other iPhones. There wasn't really that big of a difference from the 13 to the 14. It has the same exact size display, same exact notch, same exact everything. And it's not a letdown, like I said, but it would have been nice had this thing had a 90 hertz panel. I still think this panel is more than smooth enough, but still having a better panel I think is really important, considering this phone is approaching, it's not a cheap phone. There's phones like the Pixel 6 that have 90 hertz panels that are much cheaper than this thing. So I would have loved to have seen that. When I compare this phone to like the iPhone, 12s, there's really no difference at all. It's a brighter panel, but you don't really get to see that like every single day. If you're just, lowering it down, I don't really keep my phone on max brightness anyway. And I think the bigger differences is probably when you're going to start going from like an iPhone 11 to an iPhone 14. And that's when you're going to start seeing how much better this panel is. You saw the lightning port at the bottom. The SIM card tray though, or lack thereof, is still something that a lot of people don't really like. I still see to this day tons of comments on my second channel, especially, on those videos related to SIM cards, basically stating, hey, I'm trying to go and convert it, but it's not working. There's a huge line. I had to wait a long line to convert my, SIM card and get the QR code to make it an eSIM and all these other things. So I think that's still something that is very, very temporary. I think over time it's definitely going to get fixed, but I think that's something I wish Apple just kept. The SIM card is just a very, very weird thing. And on the back, we have that standard glass back, which still feels very good. So the MagSafe capability, wireless charging, IP certification, everything like that. So this iPhone in that standpoint is very, very, modern. It doesn't feel like an old iPhone. It doesn't feel cheap. Even though this thing has a notch, even though this thing has a dual camera setup, it doesn't compete with the Pros, but it still feels very good. It does not feel like a cheap phone at all. And I think overall on the outside, it gets a thumbs up from me. Now in the camera department, this is where it's like such an interesting thing that Apple did here. This is the smallest upgrade, I would say, from going from one camera to the other, probably ever. We didn't get any like better camera features. We got action mode, which is cool. And maybe, just maybe, the camera quality is better, video quality is better, all these things are better. But the difference between an iPhone 13 and an iPhone 14, there is pretty much no difference that I could see. A lot of the differences maybe could be done to like, if you just like went into an iPhone editing app like the Photos application and just turn the brightness up on a photo, you can simulate a lot of the different, effects that you may be able to get in an improvement with this type of camera than any other phone. And the thing is with this type of camera, I'm not really complaining about the quality. I just wish we kind of had a little bit more of a feature set when it comes down to these iPhones. When compared to phones like Samsung's, and even I would say I would leave it at Samsung for now, like with the Galaxy S22, the iPhone 14 camera in general with the features it has, it just doesn't keep up with the Galaxy S22. And that is the thing that I think Apple really needs to focus in on. They keep giving us like 1 or 2 features every year. This year they gave us action mode and they gave us cinematic mode of 4K. Other than that, I look at what Samsung is doing with their cameras, and I feel like Apple can really do a much better job. They have Pro mode on those specific phones. We don't need all the features on these devices, but we need some crazy cool features. I look at that camera, that the S22 has, and it's just insane the amount of features they get to have. But on iPhones, we're still stuck on like the same features. I mean, like really in the last like 4 or 5 years, we got portrait mode, we got cinematic mode, we now have like action mode, which I don't even think anybody's going to use. And I just wish Apple kind of did a better job there. The quality is great, but when I compare this phone to all these other phones from other manufacturers, that's the one area I keep saying, I just wish Apple were to, kind of add a few more features here and there. And I think it's time, to be honest. Now, in terms of, longevity, how long this phone's going to last, this device is going to last a very long time. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. And that's a really big advantage of this device. So if you're wanting to buy a phone that's going to last a long time, this is it. But because it has the same chipset as the iPhone 13, I wouldn't be surprised if this phone lasts as long as the iPhone 13 does. So I would kind of keep that in the back of your head, think about it. In terms of performance, this phone's performance has been very, very good. You have that Apple A15 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 gigabytes of RAM. And like I mentioned, when it comes down to the whole entire performance side of things, I've had a really good time with the performance. I think if I was, comparing it against all the other iPhones that came before it, the iPhone 13, 12s, 11s, it's done a great job at kind of keeping up with everything I threw at it, which I think is a really, really good thing. But I will also say the iPhone 13 has done a really good job with the performance. I've thrown that at that. The S22 has done a great job in the performance sector. Realistically speaking, yes, this may be the fastest iPhone, or the Pro model might be faster, but I still don't think if you're not tapping out the performance on your device every single day, you're not going to be able to notice that big of a difference. If you're playing games like Genshin Impact or like Roblox or whatever, like I said, you're probably going to be getting very similar performance unless you're like maxing out the graphics. And even then, this phone has the same performance as the iPhone 13. So it's not like you're getting that much better performance in general anyway. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. And in terms of battery life, this phone's battery has been very, very good. It's probably one of the best assets of it. I did battery tests between this thing and so many other devices, and this phone has been able to keep up and outperform all the other iPhones I compared against it, which was really cool. I think I did better than some of my other Android phones too, which was really nice. And I think when it comes down to that, the battery life is one of the better aspects here too. I mean, is it perfect? It's pretty good. I will say with the Pro Maxes and even with the Pro model, those ones may do a little bit better here and there. But with the 14 and the 14 Plus in general, these iPhones are said to have some of the best battery life, and I can definitely attest to that. So now we kind of make it to the end of the video. And if I had to be honest, like I said in the early on portion of this video, I don't think the iPhone 14 is worth buying. I don't think it's worth going up from an iPhone 13 to an iPhone 14. I think if you have an iPhone 11 or an iPhone 10R and you have an upgrade available or someone's gifting you whatever, then, definitely buy an iPhone 14. It's definitely worth the money. But at that point, I would either buy an iPhone 14 Pro or I would go and buy an iPhone 13 Pro. An iPhone 13 Pro is, if that phone does not exist, then the iPhone 14 kind of seems like a better deal. But the 13 Pro is a much better phone than this device in every single area. You're getting better cameras, you're getting a way better display, you're getting the same performance and the same chipset, the same amount of RAM, everything like that. And you can probably even buy that phone cheaper than what you can buy an iPhone 14 for. So I'll tell you, the iPhone 14, not a bad phone, it's just way overpriced. I feel like all the iPhone 14s are way overpriced, to be honest, but that's kind of my thoughts on it. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.